Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the Silent Hill 3 camera mod. Now this mod also works with Silent Hill 4 I believe, and I think it came out around a week or two ago. That's when I started seeing the videos of it on YouTube, and I've only tested it out with Silent Hill 3, so I'm just going to go through a really brief video showing off what it looks like and how it runs. So I'm going to have the link to the download in the description box below. You can download it. It is a RAR file. You're going to take the files inside of that RAR file and drop them in the root folder of your Silent Hill 3 installation. At the time of recording, I don't think it works on the PS2 version, so you can't patch your PS2 ISO and run it that way. But it does work on the PC copy, and I believe there's one in the works for Silent Hill 2 as well that adds in manual aiming for your weapons, which is really awesome. I'm excited to test that one out once it releases. So let's jump into the game. I'm going to skip the amusement park real quick and just get straight into the shopping mall. So let's see if I can actually get her to fall in. There we go. Okay, so here we are in the shopping mall bathroom, and just to demonstrate what the original camera was like, you could, in some instances, turn the camera to be behind the character, but in a lot of instances, it is fixed camera. You only see what the game wants you to see, so to speak. So in order to access the mod menu, you're going to press Escape and F1. You're going to have all these camera tweaks here, and they already have two presets. So you have over the shoulder and first person shooter. Let's go to over the shoulder real quick. You're gonna hit escape, F1, and then enter. And well, of course it doesn't look like anything happened, but in order to actually activate the camera, you're going to press F2. And now we are in the third person over the shoulder camera. And you will quickly notice that the reason why this kind of camera doesn't really work with Silent Hill 3 is a lot of the environments were modeled so that the only thing that was modeled was what was necessary to show the scene. So for instance, if you look up in this bathroom, there is no ceiling. As well as if you look out of this window, there's no skybox. And then, surprise, surprise for anybody who has played this and wanted to know who was behind this stall all these years, well, it's actually no one, unfortunately. So, yeah, another thing that's really cool about gaming back then for the reflections is it's actually just a mirrored, like all of that in there is actually modeled, and it's just mirrored. So I really find that fascinating how they did that. So let's go ahead and go out of this window, and I will show you even more of why playing with this in your first playthrough might not be the best idea. So over here you have this gorgeous sunset, right? Now when you look up, skybox is gone. When you look in the window over here, no roof on the building, very flat textures on the inside. And of course, when you're playing with the original camera and you run towards this, it won't let you look up and see that there is no skybox, and you just kind of see that orange haze. So that's the reason why I don't really recommend you play with this in your first playthrough. Now, if you're a person who's already beat the game like me, I've beat this game multiple times, it's interesting to go in and see all the little details that you miss when you can't get up close to the maps and stuff. So, yeah, in order to get the game looking as good as they did, they had to be really particular about what they modeled in the game. And that's why you have the character models like Heather that just looks absolutely insane for a PlayStation 2 game. So anyways, let's go in here. I'm going to go to the place where you get the gun, and then I will show off the first person. Okay, so we have the gun, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this ammo right here. Now, let's look at the first-person models. So, when you load the first-person preset, it will say hide player best with shadows off. I don't think it actually turns off the shadows just by doing that. So when you look down, you will see some glitchy shadows on the ground, and sometimes it can be particularly pronounced. So I actually believe in order to change that, you would need to do so in the in-game options, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not exactly sure how to get there. I guess it's this up here. So if I can figure out how to work this. Real-time shadow, no. And then exit, yes, change the settings. And exit this. Now you shouldn't have that janky shadow problem. Should be completely fixed. So that's nice, and it looks almost like a VR game when you're playing it like this with the floating gun. Now, one thing I actually really hope they can do in the future is I hope more modders will be able to look into this game and figure out how to replace character models and stuff like that. They probably already know how, but I think it would be really cool to have like a true, almost first-person shooter like first-person view model. So if I go in here and actually enable the player, you'll notice very quickly why it's not enabled by default. Because you're literally inside of the character model and it looks very janky. But tell me this does not look cool. So, like, doing that and walking around, just imagine that her vest isn't there. Like, that looks pretty sweet, right? I love that. And then aiming and shooting, that looks really awesome. If you want to get it looking just a tiny bit better, you can go in and change the back distance to 0 to zoom it in just a little bit more, so the camera will actually be slightly in front of the character model, but you still get clipping through the model, unfortunately. It just looks a little bit better when you do it like that. And I've tried to make it look better, like turning the vertical distance up, but no matter what you do, it's going to look a little jank. Like that. You see her hair pop in. So, yeah, it's unfortunate that it's not really, like, playable with a true first-person model. But I hope that's something that modders can go in and kind of make an alternate model of Heather that will load in, and it won't model anything but like her arms and maybe her legs when you look down. That would be really cool if somebody could go in and do that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here real quick and first let's look at this over here. Another reason why I don't really recommend this as your first time is the draw distance is very easy to see that the draw distance is pretty short, and then of course there's no ceiling in this area either. And not only that, you miss out on some of the camera cuts too. So in order to find key items, for instance, let me go to the over-the-shoulder preset again. So you'll notice her looking at the tongs right there, but some of the items, it's kind of hard to tell that she's looking at them. And in the original camera, it's very obvious that you're supposed to grab those because it actually switches to this camera right here. And while you're in this, it can be hard to tell exactly what she's looking at. So that's another reason you might want to stick to the traditional camera view in your first playthrough. But yeah, it's just really cool to actually get up close and see all the detail put into these models, because it really is gorgeous what they were able to do with this game. The fact that even some of this is legible is really cool. And I'm going to go through and get the key, go into the bookshop, look around there, and then that will be it for this video. I just wanted to show it off and show you what it looked like to play in these different camera modes. Of course, you have all the settings you can tweak. If you want it closer to Heather or further away, you can do that and get it to exactly how you like it. And then they have an option where you can actually save the preset and use it for later. So just really nice stuff. I love these mods, and I'm hoping they just get more polished in the future. But I don't really see how the first person could really improve unless they're able to swap out the model. And yeah, that's just something I'm hoping they're able to do in the future. So let me run through here. And let's go over to the bookstore. Now, I love little details like this too. You can see inside of there that they modeled the closed sign, and then there's just kind of a flat wall with the texture. And I especially love the bookstore because they actually modeled an interior over here where it's just 2 shelves, and then you can't really see more back there. Now, when you actually go into this place, that was rude. You'll notice that there's a lot more detail than, of course, what was shown off out there. Because normally you would only see, like, the very beginning, you know, of the room with a regular camera angle. Now, in here, I always love looking up close at books and props and just seeing the detail that was able to be achieved. So the fact that some of this is even legible, like I believe that says Saving Millie. For Faultless Felons, Art More. You have a magazine over here, National Industry. Can't really read that one. Illustration. And of course you'll notice a lot of them are just repeated over the bookshelves. But I don't know. I love that the little details and stuff like that. That's what I think this mod is really good for, is people who have already beaten the game and they just want to go through and pour over every little detail and every texture that was put into the game, because there is a lot of love put into these environments. Now, unfortunately, the spines of the books aren't really high enough resolution to read like the covers were. Let me look behind this countertop. Just a bunch of books back here. This is probably one of the best, like, modeled environments in the game, I would imagine. Because there's no gaps, you can kind of see the entire room. Unlike the other areas where you're going to have some stuff cut off or textures missing. In here, it's pretty much complete. So yeah, that's the first and third person camera mod. It's really interesting. It's good for longtime players to go through and notice small little details. And I'm not saying you can't play the games this way for your first time. I just wouldn't recommend it, because I think the original camera is still kind of important to get the complete experience. I forgot, I'm going to have to leave to get Heather's character model to show up again. So let me run back in there. And yeah, like normally you would see from very specific angles while you're in this shop. And it will kind of guide you to all of the key items a lot easier. And it also sets up some really effective scares in the game. So yeah, don't rob yourself of that experience, I think, in your first playthrough. Kind of leave this for more your second or third playthrough, unless you just really can't stand the controls, then fine. But I do think it's worth it to play with the original camera. And that's it for this video. If you do like this video, go ahead and like the video, dislike the video. If you dislike the video, be sure to download the mod in the description down below and leave a comment in the comment section down below telling me what you think about Silent Hill 3, what you think about the mod, what you would hope for in a mod. Again, the thing that I'm really hoping can eventually be done is swapping out Heather's model to where you can actually have more of a true first-person experience. That would be really awesome, and I think that would be a much better, like, way to kind of sell the illusion they're playing in first person. As is, I've seen people, like, I believe, use it with the VR headset, so it does make sense to play it without the character model as well. But I think having that first person model would just be really cool. And yeah, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this and other gaming news and gaming opinion videos, gameplay. And then join the Discord. I'm going to put a link in the description down below to my Discord. It's not many people there right now. It's just me and a handful of other people. It's mostly me and one other person talking back and forth. I'm trying to get more people in there. And the main goal of the Discord right now is to revive old games, old multiplayer games that are long dead. I have guides on there on how to set them up and play them. And sometimes we schedule games on there. So if that's something you're interested in, join the Discord. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.